Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our second podcast. Tonight we have a special guest. His name is Mac. Mac is from, originally, he's from Croatia. Mac, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone. My name is Machiavelli. Normally refer myself to Machiavelli. I was born in Croatia from a French mother from Quebec. So I have a big mixed in like the knowledge of a lot of politics that go around all of these things. I mean, I'm 42 years old. I lived through the 90s, the 2000s and everything, and I've noticed since 9/11. My father, 1 year before, he called me and he told me that, 1 year before 9/11, brother, I was at a dinner with my dad, and he told me, laughing, reading the journal, that America was going to war in the Middle East. And when 9/11 happened, he called me and woke me up. So it's hard to go back to normality. I'm an oddball, but I love politics indeed.
So basically, your father and also 9/11 are the catalysts that woke you up from the slumber of normality, from the slumber of being a normie, let's say.
Well, you have to understand that for certain people around the world, we were always aware of a system that wasn't the one shown. Like someone owning the system, but someone else running it. Two teams, but there's an owner, like someone dodgy in the dark planning. So from my childhood, I was taught to have a certain view of certain typical cults of ideologies in our world. Bankers, people that are based in those types of societies. And so I never really believed in all of that. I never believed that, example, Germany was all bad, or that, it was like, oh, they are so bad, because to me, it makes no sense. Yeah. So yeah, there's people like me in the world.
Yeah, well, the audience knows my story. I was never actually asleep, thanks to my father, because my father taught me from a very, very young age about World War II, about the bankers, the cabal, all the international cabal, and he also taught me about today's subject, which is brainwashing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brainwashing.
Propaganda.
I love that subject, brother. It's the main issue from our society, and it's the main thing that made me woke up, is the system in which I was put in. So I'm able to explain a lot of the they're trying to box us in as, a set standard structure, but it doesn't work. So they break the people in their beliefs and everything. It goes deep. We are in big trouble as a society.
It's a form of psychological warfare, and it's constant. It's a war, don't get me wrong, it's a hot war on our very minds, or our very souls, if you...
Oh yes. And it uses the most beautiful gift that we have, love and empathy, against us.
Yeah.
Which is very truly evil.
Yeah, and also blackmail and money
material,
material,
the self, the narcissistic part of our egos, the Pandora's box of problems. And it's easy. It's sadly, it's easy.
It's easy, and it's very convenient for most of us. I mean, most people are not that deep, and most people are very, very materialistic, and that works for most of them. So tonight we're gonna talk about brainwashing, subversions. Yuri Bezmenov, as you know, I did a whole video about Yuri Bezmenov, and also
we're gonna. Good video.
And also, we're going to talk about Sun Tzu, the art of warfare, a little bit. So,
the master of it all.
yeah.
You see, if Sun Tzu at 16 years old was able to observe nature as it is and enable, like in speech and form, what he saw, it's more of a spiritual awakening than anything else. I mean, wow, that kid was amazing.
Yeah. And all of that. Sun Tzu lived 2,500 years ago, right?
Yeah, he's the one that aided the empire to become what it is.
Yeah,
like it was all this, like there was clans, wars, uneven, blah blah, and Sun Tzu and the emperor took and created what we know of China. So I mean.
Yeah, I would say that Sun Tzu was a figure, not decades, not thousands of years ahead of its time, I would say.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, most people are not even aware who this guy was. They are not even aware about the very tactics that he talked about 2,500 years ago. Yes, are used upon them right now.
Yes, sir. Yes. Machiavelli.
Another figure.
He's another figure, but he recognized people that were like Sun Tzu, but of his time or of his era or his kind of like culture, if you want. But there's people that saw the truth, and this is it's very pertinent to our subject. You cannot change the truth because it is what it is. And it's not only the truth, but it gives a spiritual opening to people. It frees the people. So it's good vs bad in general, to sum it up. But the manipulation that they started is from a long time ago. Sun Tzu said, if you cannot destroy your enemy with your force from the outside, attack it within.
From within.
Exactly. Yes.
And without fighting. And he said that fighting should be the very, very last resort, because he believed, and I totally agree with Sun Tzu upon this, that fighting a hot war, let's say a border war, is the most idiotic way to conduct war.
Yes.
I mean, war doesn't begin when, the general says, march. Yeah, you're going to attack this base. No, the war begins when an agent of subversion it's implanted into that country, and that country is the recipient of subversion. It's the recipient of propaganda and crumbling from within. And you don't need that much resources to do it. You just need to have an idea, and also you need to have an ideology to sell. You have to be a great salesman, actually.
Well, you have to create a play. The idea is to be the cure and the plague.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't be any solution, nor as always to stay in between. That's the ideology of subverting Christianity. All of us, it's always division.
Exactly, the Western culture as a whole, yeah.
But even Napoleon said to the Russian Tsar, he said that he was laughing after conquering Russia, and he said to the Tsar, war, stop that. 95% is talk, and 5% is the real action. War.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true.
Yes, it is. So you see, redundancy in statements might not be connected by their direct lineage, connection, or race, but it still remains the truth.
Yeah.
That's the issue with subversion. And that's why we see our society today shaking like a castle with no structure based on mud.
Based on
You know?
sand, I would say yes, and like a house of cards, it will crumble. And it's big. It's. I would say that the fall of the Western world began at the end. I would say of World War II.
Pretty much.
I would say that at the end of World War II, that marked the fall of the Western world, and also to some extent the Eastern world, because Russia and China and Japan, they all have their problems, and they're to some extent they have much more problems to deal with than some countries in the Western world, like I don't know. Poland or something like that, but
the reality of the structure of their societies and the people that inhabit those areas create the social disparities and issues. You can't make a people more intelligent if they're set to be at a certain state. Russians are able to adapt to that and understand that. They will react and create kind of a good society. They have their problems outside in the skirts and everything, but the core of the people of Russia, the thing that fuels their machine, is constantly renewing itself with good genes.
Yeah, if you think about it, that should be the engine moving forward for the whole Western world, America and Europe as well.
Exactly, but it's a balance effect. So
yeah,
like pre-War One, everything was shifting on the right. After World War One, it went middle. After World War Two, it shifted to the west, and I'm talking about the bank, the structures, usury. Certain ways of laws, special treaties, special happenings for a certain group,
for a certain tribe.
Yeah, tribes
that we're not allowed to speak about directly. Yeah,
which is the problem. And philosophy doesn't change from Sun Tzu, from Machiavelli, from Yuri Bezmenov to me and you. We are not smarter than the man that said it first, but we are wiser for knowing it.
And you also what guy that is much popular than all of the mentioned above said it?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
My Lord and Savior.
Yeah. Jesus.
My structure, brother.
If Jesus was alive today, he would be in jail for you know what?
Yeah, he would be a meme. He would probably be a meme artist, like hiding in countries.
I would say
run.
Yeah, let's
not go too deep into the religious, but it's kind of a funny thing to think the way that he is and he was in speech.
Yeah.
You see it. Humans, cunning humans, like Aryan, not Aryan, sorry. It's a
European.
White, European, Slavic in my case. Like Tesla was not too far from where I was born.
Yeah, Tesla was Croatian, yeah.
He was Serbian Croatian.
Yeah.
A mix.
Yeah.
But I mean, we know everyone's like, oh, what do you think about the Serbians? Bro, before the war, I had like family, people, Croatian, Serbians. My soccer team in Split is named Ajduk. It's the rebel name for Serbian army during the rebellion of I don't know what. Leaders don't represent the people.
Never. Almost never.
Most never.
There
was exceptions.
Throughout history, there are some nitpicks here and there that that
we can't name.
Yeah, well, we can say other guys like Caesar. Caesar, I would say he represented to some extent the people.
Gengis Khan.
Yeah, I would say that. But
Well, if you compare Gengis Khan with the barbarism of his time and
yeah,
his country and era, he instaured a sense to all of it in a certain way compared to what was instaured before.
yeah,
Might not have been the best. I have to agree. Still, everyone has genes of Gengis Khan, and
yeah, yeah,
there's a lot of people with genes of Gengis Khan today.
yeah. So let's move on the subject
Yep.
to brainwashing. How is
Mhm.
brainwashing in today's world used? I mean, what's the purpose of it? Well, when the average normie is gonna see this video and he's gonna say, "Oh, look, two tinfoil hat wearers, conspiracy theorists talking
Mhm.
about brainwash." Bro, brainwashing, it's real. I mean, it's more
Yep.
real than all the shows that are made for you to brainwash you with. All those brainwashing is used.
It's the oldest chess game of spirituality.
That's an interesting thing, but I would say let's talk about the material for now.
Yes, but it is. That's what I'm talking about. Like the structure of our minds is like little boxes, and the material fills one of those boxes. It completes one of those empty boxes or feelings of we need to appropriate to a group, to have a certain color of genes of you know those are things material that condition us. You can see that example like in all the movies in the last 20 years, let's say.
More, I would say here and there are movies that date back to the 70s where you see a slight shift to something weird. Let's talk about an example. How a policeman, let's say a policeman, is portrayed in
Yep.
let's say the 1980s. Oh, he's a maniac. He's a psychotic guy. He's a fat or he's the stereotypical donut eating fat
Yep.
policeman. Yeah,
The guy you can't really trust, but you have to trust, like a
yeah.
figure of authority, but not
But
really.
he's incapable. He's stupid. He's dumb.
Mhm.
And the criminal, it's he's very liberal. He's yeah, he maybe smokes some pot. He may be, but he's at heart he's a good person. Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
But and he's down because society puts him down, not because it's not his fault or his upbringing. No, it's the
No, it's society.
society. Yeah,
Yeah.
society. White people are
Go.
yeah, rich white people, but yeah, never.
History.
Yeah,
They use a lot of it's like discord, and it's like it's weird because when you read into history and you watch movies and you see what they try to correlate with each other, there's always contradiction. Even if it's small ones, your subconscious will pick them up. If they constantly accuse the white policeman of being a fat slob, and it's always the white that does something evil to a minority or someone that is victimized or persecuted as someone, oh, it's not his fault if he does that. It makes everything that is white and normal an aggression on everyone.
yeah.
Like, and it's weird because it always goes even worse.
I will.
Now,
Sorry,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go on, go on.
And I mean, like the heroes themselves in the movies have become examples of that destruction of and like everything culture. Like since World War II, it has been like someone slapping us over the head with a whip So everything that is our culture is diminished. They
Yeah,
make movies that are super anti-Christian. They
anti-white,
every
anti-European, yes,
yes,
anti-family, I would say.
anti-family too. It's a lot of destruction of the family. And I am I have lived in a family where my mother came to Canada, took advantage of the system, and I got caught in foster family. So my father's being Croatian, more Slavic and upfront, by the rules, he got destroyed by my mother in court. He couldn't like argue because my mother was using emotional responses that liberals were using,
Yeah.
and I got caught in that, and it's
When you
terrible.
a kid, that was a long time
Yes,
ago.
a very long time
I
ago, but
see.
it's still the same dynamic that they used in Imposter Center to destroy the family structure that they used in movies. It's
Exactly.
the same idea.
Yeah,
It's weird.
and you see that in movies everywhere. I've seen, I remember a recent movie from 2023, I would say. Yeah, a horror movie. I'm an avid fan of horror.
Yeah, me
um,
too.
yeah. And I know there was a movie,
Yep.
Evil Dead Rise. And the family were all women, and
Yes.
it was a transgender woman that it's allegedly a boy in the
Oh
movie.
yes, the new one, the
Yeah, the
new
new one.
version.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yes, I saw it too.
It was a kind of okay movie. I mean,
Yep.
structurally and how it was filmed, it was great. I mean, it has a great spooks, and it was a
For
well.
feminist wave movie.
Yeah, but that's my point. Underneath all the horror or the gore and all of that, it's a subconsciously they try to push this agenda against against a male role model, against a functioning family. And as you've seen in the movie, the family in that movie is not functional at all.
No, and the boy is the problem.
Yeah. And,
And I'm
and
like, what?
yeah,
I was surprised because
yeah, and the mother is divorced, and the
yeah,
sister is also divorced.
we don't even see the father.
Yeah, you don't even hear about him.
No,
It's out of the picture, and yeah.
it's like Terminator 4. They killed all the
Terminator
male
4.
care. Yeah, Terminator or one of the last ones.
Dark Fate.
Yeah,
Dark Fate. Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, that's a dumpster fire of a movie.
yeah, exactly. Because they destroy everything that made
Yeah,
the series. They
yeah,
killed every
yeah.
character in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
They killed
I don't.
all our heroes.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't. I don't consider that movie a serious movie. I just stick to the original two.
The two,
Yeah,
yeah, me
yeah.
too.
And
But it was just an extreme example of
yeah,
killing the male model in a movie, and you see our reaction. Both we can't even take that movie seriously as something that was part of the series
exactly.
because
Yeah,
why would we?
and
Why would we?
and on
I
top
mean,
of that, it's a shitty movie. I mean,
yes, exactly.
it's not even well made.
No, it's made to offend.
Uh,
It's made to
yeah,
offend and diminish
yeah.
males.
And I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not talking about only that. Technically, it's a poor movie.
Yes, it's a poor movie, exactly,
And
but there's no real storytelling.
no, it's the same rehashed story over and over again. I've seen
Yep.
this pattern in Hollywood for more than 20 years by now. I even have a video that is my most watched video on my channel about Hollywood, about how they only care about money and to push a little bit, if they can, the message, the multicultural, the
Climate
family-less, yeah, climate change, anti-white, anti-male, anti-strength, anti-nation, anti-patriotism, and so the list goes on and on.
It's white racism. They really are openly white They are racist against the white people,
I
and
think that,
it's
sorry,
open.
I think there's a term for that, Loxism, right?
Yes, Marxism, exactly.
Loxism, yeah.
Yep. If you go into
Anti-European, anti-white sentiment, yeah.
yep, well, and to me, it's all the subversion that you see, even the way that people are dressed in movies, the women, the way that they portray the men.
Yeah, as
You went
weak.
from yes, you went from uh, uh, Arnold
Schwartz,
Schwarzenegger
exactly.
to like Stewie in the movie, in the series Heroes, like the guy that's the wimp that the girl guy at the start of the movie, the series. I don't know his name, but he's basically like a wimpy person that doesn't even. He's always scared of everything. That this is the image of men that they portray, white men now.
They also make a mockery out of pagan religion. Let's take the example from the Thor movies, from the
Yep.
Avenger movies. Now
Yep.
Thor is the butt of all the jokes.
Yep.
I mean,
He's like a
yeah,
he's an
yeah,
Hollywood actor.
yeah.
they,
The
they,
Chris Hemsworth, yeah, he's. You can't even take any movie seriously. They don't make serious movies
nope.
anymore.
Nope.
It's all brainwashing and subversion.
Yep.
They're,
Because, example, I know why a little bit, is that it's failing very hardly.
financially,
Yes, but
yeah,
spirit. I mean, the conditioning itself, the people in general are all a little bit woozy or in a state of shock and awe. This is
yeah,
a tactic,
shock and
and
awe, yeah.
it goes with manipulating people through media and because this is not something new. Like people are like, oh yeah, internet, no, 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 corruption, everything. No, 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 no. You had this in the past with messages, with letters, with people talking to each other from mouth to mouth. You go in a town and you start a rumor. At the end of the day, you go and if you know the person that's talking, there's always that guy in the town, the storyteller, or the person that knows everything in the tavern. You go and you tell them the information you need. Whatever you do after, you leave. For sure, it's not going to be exactly what you said, but the structure of what you said will be shared. Society is the same. Today, I mean, it's like zombies sitting in front of a TV
Yeah,
and they don't even understand what they are been giving as
or
information.
or a tablet or a
Phone.
phone.
A
Yeah,
phone. Yeah. Everyone is going crazy because they're saying, oh, I don't want to have a chip in my head. They will really control us. And then you see them with their cell phones constantly. And I'm like, oh,
bro,
God.
you are already controlled.
Yes.
You're
I'd owe my clothes my cell phone.
yeah. You're
I don't
already
like
controlled, bro. You're already brainwashed.
yes.
The only ones who are gonna de-brainwash you is the ones that you were taught they were the bad guys. The ones that you were taught when you were a child that they were the bad guys. Those are your friends, actually.
Yes, but that's the idea of a controlled society is
Yeah,
that you can't achieve this as they are doing it without having a spiritual anchor. They're trying to do it as a machine, as something that is imposed. Uh, we are cunning, we are smart, we are love, we are those positive things that overshine all of those things. So for the people that are normal in their, they say that they're like, oh, I'm just normal. I'm starting to wander in the areas of the internet and conspiracy, let's say. It feels freeing when you finally realize that everything around you is a lie because for once you can start seeking the truth. But that's the point where it's hard for many people to just like be like, okay.
yeah. Well, I you know what I've realized in the past months, especially on X, because come on, let's face it, X is where the good stuff is. X is perhaps the only alive platform today. Facebook is dead.
Yes.
Instagram is dead.
Facebook is dangerous.
Yeah, Meta or Threads didn't even take off. X is where the meat is. It's you have to some extent a little more, let's say, free speech on there, but it's very limited there as well.
But that's exactly my point, and it comes back to conditioning. Yeah. When you have a certain speech law or a certain way imposed by a minority to speak as, you are obligated by a minority to change the way that you speak because of their issues.
Yeah, because you don't... you're not allowed to offend them. You're not allowed to speak against them. And there's a very fringe minority you are not allowed to criticize on X, on Facebook, or anywhere.
Anywhere.
They even have... sorry.
They're the ones that own Hollywood.
Porn.
All the medias, all the big corporations that are the multimedias. They, in the past... long time ago in America, there's a law that was passed to stop monopoly of big companies. It was only white companies. Now, who has the monopoly of everything?
Mm-hmm.
And there's
the blue guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
the city bitties. But that's the point. So, conditioning is.
Those who you're not allowed to criticize, those are the ones who have the boot on your head. I don't know
exactly.
who said that. Voltaire. Voltaire. Yeah. Or it was another guy. George Orwell. Did he say something like that?
Well, I think so, but many men say things that resemble the same thing. And this is where I'm going with conditioning and everything. Yuri even spoke about it, and poor Yuri. Dude, oh my God, I would have loved just having a conversation with this man.
Me too.
He was the way that he spoke and the way that he looked at the guy when they were the recording, and you knew that in his head he was like, "Oh boy."
and you know what I've realized? Yuri was a pretty short guy. He wasn't very good looking. He wasn't very charismatic, but he had this inner charisma that commanded the room whenever he spoke. Yeah. And
but that's why he understood the like acting and being a politician there's no difference.
Yes, there is the same.
It's the same thing.
Politicians are actors most of the time. They are actors. Look at that clown from Canada. Trudeau, yeah. Justin
oh my
Trudeau.
God, let's talk about him. He was a teacher of drama.
Let's not.
But example of how he was created. He was a drama teacher, a pothead, someone that was super liberal.
Yeah.
Has a lot of dodgy stories about his relationship with his students in his profession. He was too close. So you see, these people have everyone that is in a position of lead or ruling at the moment, it seems like there's always something that they can bring back against them. And this is, again, a tool of conditioning. It all comes back to the structure. So when you listen to everything that Yuri Bezmenov says about the structures and the way that they are, it's like a funnel. It goes from a lot to a little. It's like narcissism to spirituality, to narcissism to spirituality. True doctrines. And the only way to have it structured so it works is through a Christian structured society. Because...
Well, it's tried and true, I would say.
Look at everything around us.
Yeah.
All the history, all the beauty. I come from Split. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world, brother.
Europe. If you look at the infrastructure of, let's say,
Paris.
yeah, Florence in Italy, Rome,
Rome.
even my hometown.
Madrid. Whatever the ruling class tries to impose on the people will never work on the natural the nature of the nation in power or there. The only solutions for that is total extermination. And there's only one instance of that. It was in when Caesar went against Hannibal and he Carthage. It's a flat of salt now. You know,
Yeah,
that's the only way to destroy a culture or a civilization. Even by sending subversions and people like the LGBTQ with very liberal ideas in movies and everything like that, the nature of our structures as Christians comes out naturally because like even the best mathematician in the world will tell you to a certain extent that because good is good. There's a certain way. You can't explain everything because it is what it is.
I think I can explain that because I would say, and this perhaps would be viewed as controversial, but I think that Christianity it's a very logical religion, and also it's rooted in the human nature. And and the ones who wrote the New Testament, they understood human nature better than we do today in 2025.
Yes. The issue with understanding and knowledge is that it's the way that it's given and portrayed. So even if we think that we live in the future, we are actually getting stupid and dumber compared to our ancestors.
Yeah.
Because the information is funneled in a way to create a one-way highway. There's one way right, the other way, kill them all, you see. Like the way that certain people react to us, or me, example, they are very violent. And I'm like, why are you telling me I'm the violent one? And you are all calling for my debt. And I just want to exist.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, society itself and the people in it are in a state of shock at the moment. Something is brewing under it. And the more that they push lies on the people, the more that the spiritual instinct of the people will come out by itself, because it's not something we created. We grew into it. Like we went from being pagans to this, to structured our society in spirituality. God died for us on the cross. And if it wasn't true, they wouldn't try to destroy it that much.
Yeah, well, this is what the establishment or they are afraid of. I would say the most they are afraid of Jesus. They're afraid of Christianity because they know that Christianity is the religion that actually tells the truth, and it tells, and all our structure of society was built on Christianity, on Christian values. Sorry, that's why they try so hard for more than 300 years, I would say. They tried so hard to discredit Christianity, to rewrite history, to demonize Christianity, especially the church. And look at every movie that's made about Christianity.
The Nun. Or movies about like Christianity, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah, and all this crap about the Spanish Inquisition. They talk about, there were 20 million people burned at the stake. What?
What?
I mean,
yeah, I know. This is the
there is some truth to that. The Spanish
well, yeah.
Inquisition did happen, but they at most there were some priests that were very zealot. Yes, there were, but the cases there were 2, 3 at most, and
Maybe.
yeah, and those priests were exiled, excommunicated from the church. They didn't. There is some truth to that, but they all blow it out of proportion. Yeah, 20 million people were killed during the Inquisition. Come on, what?
Yep. They exaggerate everything. They put it out of proportion.
Yeah,
And they make it. That's how conditioning works. They create
propaganda,
a bad,
exactly.
Exactly. They create a bad man, bad white man, bad
Bad Christian.
bad Christian, blah blah blah, and then they say they go ahead and they even destroy it in like every scandal of pedophiles and stuff like that in the church. And
Yeah, they talk about the church, the Catholic Church, more specifically. All of them are molesting young boys, young altar boys. Yeah, there were some isolated cases, yes, but they now view the church as just a den of pedo. That's it. That's just that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like they and that's the idea.
Yeah.
You put groups into and you create words that create triggers. So people in society are triggered by words emotionally to respond to them. Like it doesn't, to me it's funny. Like I'm in public and I see people react to certain things and I'm like, wow.
Exactly like they do in the Ukraine war and in the Israel war.
Yep.
Do you remember how they said that Hamas were putting babies in ovens? I mean, why? How?
Come on, man. Come on, man.
And was that AI generated picture that Ben Shapiro tweeted? And the next day it was proven to be AI generated of a charred remains of something, I don't know.
Baby.
Oh my god!
Saying baby.
Yeah, but it was an AI generated picture of a cat. Actually, that cat was black and some guy altered that image to look realistic, like charred remains of a baby. Jesus Christ! And they that's the problem with us as a society, I would say, because we've become very prone to propaganda because of our emotions. They
oh yes, sir.
Yeah,
and that started in World War II.
No, I would say it started much earlier than that.
Okay, no, but in World War II, there were a lot of significant videos like Disney with Donald Duck about like all the propaganda, anti this, anti that. You know, it was really prominent. If you compare the comics of World War II with today, you see that there's an agenda in the comics today as well. You know, they're pushing another agenda. It's not loving. It's not stories about friendship. There's always something. And it's what makes people feel when they watch TV or they watch a show and they feel like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like, and they don't know what to say. They don't know how to feel about it because they're like, what are they trying to tell me? This is weird.
They try to tell you that you should hate yourself for what you are. You should hate yourself for your ancestry, for your race, for your for what your ancestors did 500 years ago. They owned slaves or something, some bullshit like that. Yeah.
And then you can't prove everything about the last week, but you're going to tell me that they're able to tell me that things happened this way or that way 1,000 years ago. You see, the dichotomy in this always confuses me because there are certain things in history that cannot be even questioned.
Yeah,
Okay. And you can get in danger, but
yeah,
there's other things. There's like open bar, Christianity,
yeah,
everything mixed out. Oh, come on! But there's only little subjects that you cannot touch.
yeah. There is a certain event that happened during the 40s that you are not allowed to question in countries like my country, Romania, Russia. I would say
Canada,
Canada, yeah,
yeah,
Bulgaria, France, Italy,
UK.
Germany. No, no, in UK it's not. It's not illegal in UK.
Oh no!
Yeah, funny enough, it's not.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And in the USA, it's not illegal
But
yet.
it's seen. It's seen. And well, with the new administration, and I'm sad to say this to my fellow Americans, it's going to become the same thing slowly as England.
Yeah,
It's all the same mechanical. It's like a domino effect
yeah. Well,
that
they
has started a long time ago.
they voted for Zion Dunn after all. You see?
And I was like, please, please don't be. And then, I saw Trump kissing the wall, and I was
Oh
like,
my God! I mean, there is a there are there are I would say 95% of all Western politicians that went at the
are
wall and kissed the wall. Some.
well, everyone that is in power as a allegiance to the people or
Of
the
the tribe.
yep. So you can't speak about only them. They are special. Everything else is evil, and they're good.
There are some politicians out the top of my head that didn't kiss the wall, and I know for a fact that there is that guy from Poland.
Yes,
The one with the glasses and the tall, very tall guy, and has a
well, he's
very
running for prime minister, I think.
yeah, and he likely will win.
Yes, I know.
And I think that the president of Italy didn't kiss the wall, Giorgia Meloni.
She
I,
has balls.
I didn't see any pictures of her.
I don't think she. I don't know, but the issue is that it's become so aggressive for everyone, and everyone has to face the reality of this. Whatever we're saying, the way that we speak, to a certain extent, people will understand by their feeling and spirituality. This is why the indoctrination and conditioning of the white people is abuse to the white people and their self-destruction. Everything that has been done to the white people should be considered as abuse, and in the worst ways. They used our goodwill.
But you know
All right.
what? Most of them will never realize that.
I know.
I think if you open your eyes and see the some people, I would say a fairly big chunk of the Western world, slowly had begun to wake up to the puppet masters who are. And I think the catalyst for that was the Palestine
Yeah.
war. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this woke many people up. If you check X, there are literally hundreds of accounts that have 50,000 followers that openly name the Silly Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do on X. I always was really vocal in my entire life. When I was young, I used to go around and imitate a certain man with my, expressing my Roman love for and people would laugh at it, brother, because I never ever was able to take this seriously. And I was born in Croatia in a very nationalistic family and ended up in a place in Quebec City, which are farmers and lumberjacks. My French Canadian name is The White.
Blanc?
Le blanc,
Ah, I see.
the white. So,
Nice.
and my standard on the crest of my family, it says without stains, the white. I'm like, okay, well, I must be someone bad to everyone now.
Yeah.
You know?
So, what Yuri Bezmenov taught us and showed us, I think there are only 2 or 3 interviews with him back in the 80s when he defected from the Soviet Union to USA. And
he was a teacher in Montreal.
Yeah, yeah.
University of Montreal, and he died of cancer.
Yeah, cancer, right?
Right.
And you see, a few years after the Soviet Union fell, I mean, and also in very, very vague circumstances that were never explained.
You know, the KGB itself is a very dodgy, questionable entity of conditioning itself. A lot of the Bolshevism came from there, you know?
Yeah.
So basically, what he was doing was the plot of Sun Tzu without him even understanding that he was doing. Because Yuri came to America to explain to them what would happen to them.
Yeah, exactly.
To stop them from doing it. But at the same time, it provoked it.
Yeah, and they went even harder into this direction.
Yep. Because they didn't believe it. They kind of mocked it. Like, oh, yeah,
exactly,
it can happen.
Exactly.
It's your system.
Exactly. He was viewed as a conspiracy theorist. He was viewed, just the ultra-conservative dudes are listening to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You should have listened to this guy.
Oh yes, they should have, because he's not the first that said those things. There was said before, even in the U.S. There was even other pushes of a kind of a communistic type of ideology. America, to a certain extent, it was illegal to be communist.
Yeah. During the McCarthy trials, yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. So, to me, to see that there's a communist party in the U.S. just bugs my mind a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, it doesn't work with the conditioning. That's what they're doing at the moment.
And
they're trying.
And also, if you think about it, the ideology of communism or socialism will never work in USA.
No, it's not made for working anyways.
Especially in America.
Especially in America, which is because now that the East is more stable, they're destabilizing the West by program, and they want to diminish the knowledge and the power of the people, because what you own is cool, but what you know is priceless.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what they're attacking in America. They're attacking what is being American, like in Canada, in Quebec too, in our province. In our province, people are mad. They see that assimilation. They see that the world was pushing something on Quebec that we don't want as French Canadians. We're Christians. We're French. We love our customs.
Exactly the same thing they try to do in Romania. I've seen a video today that boiled my blood. There were, I would say, tens of thousands of immigrants that were flooding the one major airport in Romania, and
I saw that.
Oh my God! What? And
it's an invasion, brother.
Yes, it is an invasion of Europe, and this is what Marxism try to do, to destroy the identity of a nation and to destroy the idea of a nation and
the spirituality, unity too.
Yeah, what keeps a nation afloat? Religion, their national identity, and their race, of course.
Yep. So if you destabilize 3 of them at the same time, You just like,
You
it's like I
won.
was saying, yeah, you won. It's like checkers of the mind, because like you playing, and one, you can sacrifice a peon to expose a queen to eat the queen,
Yeah.
like feminism.
Yeah, and this is a Trojan horse, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This all the politicians in the Western world are actually Trojan horses. Not all of them. Some of them are against immigration, against LGBT and all that. But most of them, they try to win votes. They try to win,
Mm-hmm.
and
But
yeah,
votes, but they are trying to win votes from who? Because when you see what they promise and what they say or do, it's two things opposite. And not only that, example, in Canada, French Canadians have been voting for years to try to separate from Canada.
yeah,
We
I
didn't
know, I know that,
we didn't even sign their charter. We
I know
just
that.
want to be ourselves. We don't care about what you do at your home. Have fun, brother, But they can't respect that. It's like when you come to Quebec, we almost all speak English. We just love to see people try to speak French. It's funny. Then when we see you try and you're not able, we just speak English. You understand? We're not bad people. We don't want war.
The sovereignty,
Conditioning. Yes.
sovereignty.
Eh,
And I've seen something very interesting happening in Romania lately. There's a movement in Romania that is called the sovereignty movement,
mhm.
and I am sure you're aware of Călin Georgescu.
A little bit, but not enough to give you a good
Oh, okay.
opinion. But
Uh,
if you,
and they in Romania they brand the sovereignty guys. You are a sovereign guy. Oh, that means you are a nationalist. You're a bad guy. You're a fascist. You're a Nazi. What?
uh huh,
We just want Romania to be for Romanians, and
yeah,
we just want our country to not be exploited by NGOs, by mega corporations, by all those literal parasites that are coming into our country, exploit the resources, and then profit from it.
hmm
We don't
and
want
then,
that.
well, not only that, but they have imposed a certain culture. Everyone in position of power is part of a certain club. So
Yeah,
it's like, are you kidding me? Everyone is part of that club, so we are under them. We are just subservient slaves. Our freedom is not. We're not. No one is free.
I remember this quote from a comedian, George Carlin, if you're aware of him. Yeah,
Yeah.
he says it's all a big club and you ain't in it.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Exactly.
I know that we're not in the club. I know that we are a part of it. But the conditioning that they do is like they make us accept that through movies, through school, even they are banning subjects. They are changing
Exactly.
subjects. That is dangerous.
Exactly the same thing they want moving forward in Romania. They want to make history, the history class, not
Mhm.
uh,
Religious?
no. They want history to be taught just two subjects: communist history and the Holocaust history. That's it.
Oof, I
They
can't.
they don't even want children to know about their roots, their ancestral roots, their history. And Romania has a vast history that dates thousands of years ago, 2,000 years ago.
hmm Yeah, that's the problem. They can't impose things like that. And
That,
it fundamentally cannot work, even if they try, because it's in our genes.
exactly. There's a
It's hard.
quote. There's a quote that I would say. Who said it? George Orwell said it. He who controls the past controls the future.
Yes,
If
pretty
you
much.
if you control history, you control
Control.
the present.
Yeah. Or if you want to know if you want to predict the future, create it. If you want to predict a leader, create the actor.
The actor, exactly.
That's exactly it. There's nothing random under the sun. People that tell me, oh, their life is so random, I look at them with a dead face and I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah. Most of the time, yeah. All these Messiah-like characters, like Trump, for example. Oh, they all said, yeah, Trump is gonna end all the wars.
That was so funny, brother. I was like, okay, guys, he was the guy that was in multimedia. He was in TV. He had his own TV show, and you're going to tell me that he's going to be honest this time.
Yeah, and they portray him as a outsider of the establishment. Bro, he is part of the establishment.
He was in all their parties.
Exactly.
Like, I mean,
exactly. He was a Democrat for 25 years.
Yes, he almost ran for Democrat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people are forgetting all those things. And there it is again, conditioning it with emotional reactions.
Exactly.
Under pressure and duress. So our society is living in a pressure cooker. And we have little pressure valves to release a little bit of pressure. And they we're going to let off a little pressure on those little subservient people to make them react to colors. And then boom. And nothing is you know the meme? Nothing ever happens.
Yeah, and you know what? 99% of the time they take the bait.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Because emotionally they're driven like that.
This is how propaganda works.
Conditioning works in masses. It's like if you ever went to a rock concert. Okay?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I was in a Slayer concert. And Slayer, they screamed for the war in Iraq.
Oh.
Or like, it was something like that. And French Canadians were like, boo!